So my name is Greg Marcks. I'll be your moderator for about 10 minutes or so. We'll get some audience questions in before we have to clear the theater in about a half hour for Rocky Horror. But it's a great honor to be able to talk to you guys. I'll do the cardinal sin of Q&A as I'll just open with a statement instead of a question. I think you guys collectively created this existential masterpiece. I love this film. It's my favorite American movie of this year. This is my third time seeing it, and it gets richer every time.
What's your favorite international film?
It's still September. But I'm just excited to talk to you about this. Well, first of all, let's give it up for the cast. Ben is still driving, he could not be here. But I don't know. I think you guys did something very smart. Like you packaged something terrifying in a horror film that is more terrifying than horror. Like so. Horror movies are typically about death, right? Like it's about life being short and life being taken away and the horror of that. And it's something that we're all scared to die. We all have mortality fears. But what we don't talk about nearly as much, and what is equally terrifying, is how long life is, and the terror of that and what that means. So I wanted to just start with this sort of. I've heard you talk about this a couple times, but I wondered at this point, as the writer, because you've been the director for so long, as the original writer, do you feel like you've said what you wanted to say about adulthood? You know, I know that you always talk about this being about growing up, but you know, the road, they move out of college, they get on the road, and then it is what it is. So I'm just curious how you feel about adulthood right now.
Adulthood in general, it's chill. It's fine. But it's so funny because I literally, I wrote the script when I was like 20, 21 years old, and it's been 7 years. So I've literally grown up like, am I doing that noise? The ringing? It was. Mic check. Sweet. It's weird because I've slowly, as I've gotten older, realized like what my younger self was trying to articulate. Like he was trying to flood, yeah. He was trying to flood this thing out of himself. Like, I'm also gonna say this is my first drunk Q&A. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Tallahassee. When I was 21, I just wanted to write, like, this is what I'm feeling, and I was flooding it out, and I wasn't thinking of this, like, long thematic thing, but as I got older, I was like, damn, he was fucked up. Like, he, like, had some problems. Like, if it's clear from the movie, like, I was someone that struggled with, adolescent depression, and I guess adult depression, too, sometimes, but I think I'm happy that the thematic, at least optimistic ending conclusion, it is an optimistic ending. I know you can kind of portray anything, but I do want to say objectively it is an optimistic ending. Is still steadfast. Like I still believe in the overall thematic message of the movie and each character's decision and response to meaninglessness. Because honestly, young people 7 years later have it even worse than I did when I was entering the real world. So the institutions and structural things that they believe in, are the moral cohesiveness of our generation has just fallen even farther apart since I was a kid. I still am a kid. I don't know what counts as a kid. So I do feel I'm still happy with what I said, but it's weird to I get older and see like, wow, he was like articulating things about capitalism he didn't even understand yet. He was just me. I also struggle with depersonalization. That's a whole other thing. But I was clearly articulating things that I didn't fully understand yet, and it was coming from a purely physiological place of like fear and anxiety and chemical imbalance. And then as I get older, I'm like deconstructing the kind of structural overarching things that were causing that. What's that? I did have an ego death when I was 18, but it was not drug induced.
Well, I'm glad we're loose, right? Because this is a movie about kind of letting go of control a little bit.
I'll answer any question at this. Yeah.
Well, there's a character. Too far. So I guess I'm curious. Like, so we have a protagonist whose need for meaning exceeds his need for connection, and then he realizes it's optimistic, I think, because he understands what he's done, and he goes back, and then even this character who is excited about new things more than anybody else makes a new friend, which I think is, you managed to find something in the rules that I wasn't expecting right at the end, which I don't think the other characters even thought of, actually. Like they hadn't gone out of their friendship. But I did want to ask you about, and maybe the cast as well, because you're all friends as well. This movie is very much about friendship. You know, there's other movies that are solo existential crises, and we get a little bit of that at the end with him. But to me, the charm and the hopefulness of this movie is about the connection between these characters, which honestly, like, your guys' performance is
so good.
It's unbelievable. And yeah, exactly. So I'm just curious. I mean, there's what we could say about friendship, but I just think the friendship that created this movie is really interesting to me. You guys made it multiple times and like clearly have a strong bond. I'm just curious, maybe you guys all have a microphone, maybe you could talk a little bit about what friendship meant in the context of this movie, but you can go first.
Yeah, I like that James's final place at the end, because this movie is like a hangout friend movie at war with a genre horror film. Like, they're literally two different films interacting with each other, and the idea of like, when you walk away from a typical genre film that is like conflict resolution, because that's what a genre film is like overcoming conflict, what's the next conflict, overcoming that. Normally, like you said, life or death. You leave with like, you know, sort of the emotional experience, but the thing you're gonna leave this film with is like, damn, I remember that one fucking funny line, or like the friends hanging out, which is like what I love so much. And James even realizes that, oh, the real meat is the friendship. I definitely would not be here without, you know, every single person on the crew. Like, it was, this entire film was a labor of love from like a bunch of people that were friends. Yeah. Friendship.
Yeah, we're all pretty close on this this film, but I like what you said earlier about like the different like layered deaths within the film, and I wanted to focus more on like the death of optimism, because you know, like, there is no hope for a turn anymore, and I think because they're all so very closely knit, when we turned the car off, we expected him, we were like, we need you to give up. We never expected him to leave us. But as soon as the car turned back on, it's like, dang, like, you're about to leave us. That's why it hit so hard, because we thought that we would stay together, or at least Day. She figured that, like, he would just, you know, stay with us and give up with us. But he had another agenda on his mind, and it clearly was not friendship. So, you know, that it stings a little bit harder. But, like, throughout this movie, because we did film it 3 times over the course of like 3 or so years. Like, I was 19 when we started, and I'm 22 now, and these people are like these are my brothers right here. So every time we filmed, our chemistry just got stronger and stronger, and a lot of those like lines, Alex really allowed us to kind of like play with the dialogue. Like, when you film it 3 times, you know it pretty well. And you know, it just got better and better. Like the Jane Goodall line, one of my favorites. That was improv. Ooh, give it up for improv. Give it up for friendship. But yeah, you get stronger over time when you work with people that you like.
Is it improv? I don't know.
So it was improv, and then Alex made us do it 70 different times. Yay!
All my friends in the A50 say, yeah!
No, I think this movie, from start to finish, I think we all realized from the start that this wasn't just going to be a job. Every single person on this set, like, we got really close, and we all really bonded. Like Phineas even, who is not here right now, him and I decided, like, when we first got to Tallahassee and we were staying, Ryan and Gina Moffat are here. They were our host family who let the cast stay in their home every time we filmed. And they played such a massive role in this coming to fruition. So they're in the credits. But, the connection that we all made, Phineas and I, like, we decided that while we were filming, we would stay in the same room together every time, every single round. Like, we could have been in our own beds, we could have had our own system, but like him and I decided, like, well, we are like best friends and things, so like let's do this, and we did every single time. And I think all of us like really connected through the process of making this film, and everybody knows that. So it's lifelong at this point, after 3 years of making the same movie over and over and over again. So, friendship.
From the producer's point of view, I think Carrie Carasone and myself, we produced this film together. We realized that everyone talks about the ideal dream of making movies with your friends, and what you don't realize is when you're making movies with your friends, the stakes of doing it correctly and doing it safely are even higher. Because if you mess up and you burn a relationship, you're not just losing a coworker, you're losing like a family member and a dear friend. And every time we went back to do this movie, the burden on Carrie and I's backs became even greater of like, oh, we're not just taking care of Noah Toth, we're taking care of our boy, Noah and Mitch and Akira and Finn, and we gotta make sure that they're getting good sleep, and we gotta make sure that they're getting fed. And we just became parents over the course of 3 years to people that are older than us, younger than us as well. And I apologize for all the times where it was tough, and I'm so thankful for all the times where y'all made it great.
As I was watching it this time, the first 10 minutes prior to them realizing that they haven't, that they start talking about the turn, I was like, this part of the movie is the movie. Like, and then after when the way later comes back and they kind of get back into the swing of things, or at least some of them do, it's the core relationships and the totally believable history that these four people have, and I am sure that a lot of that was in the script. I'm sure a lot of that was generated and improv and stuff like that. But that to me was the huge strength of this piece. And then as they start to fall away, you really feel that. I had one other question, and I'll open up to the audience, which was the opening shot. You opened with the car already on the road, and I was just curious, was that a late decision, or like did you instinctively want to have the car? Because the car is like kind of we start the movie in the car's always running, but when we first open up the movie, it's like it's on the road alone, and I was just curious if there was any symbolism to that.
It was actually a practical decision in that the hangout stuff. I think if you jump right into that, besides that opening scene, we're in a subjective camera experience almost the entire movie. Like we film in a verite long lens, doc style, and I think if you jump right into the movie, into the hangout section, there's almost like a, I could feel sometimes, no offense, an older audience be like, is this a kid? Like, what are all these kids yapping about? Like, what are they talking about? And so there's almost like a trickle of trust to be like, hey, here's an objective, like, God eye view, hint at genre that's gonna come back, not in full. It's like completely, you're projecting onto that opening scene that it's scary. It's really not scary. Semi-spoiler, I think that car opening is just that James found his friends and then went into the woods. Like, that's like a huge jump into the future. But it's just same way as the road. Like, you're projecting that this is something spooky when you're going into a genre film, and it's, everything is completely your perception. And then also, trying to like do a little bit of, genre camera work before you jump into just locked on the characters along with stuff.
Just since you brought up the age of the audience, and I know that you've talked about this being a Gen Z movie, is there anything in particular about that, about the film that you hope will resonate once it finds its audience?
For Gen Z in general, I have a absolute, my spiritual mission as a filmmaker is to give solace to like my version of myself that was depressed. There's definitely like a complete spiritual rot in our generation. Just a complete, everything's really tough. That's it. And I would love if there was some sense of, there is no unifying moral cohesiveness. It's not. I'm gonna sound so pretentious and just rambling, but like it's not nationalism or patriotism or religion or class consciousness. There's literally nothing holding us all together besides like vibes, which is like where James kind of ends up, and like that's what I would love. I mean, there's like it's a humanist view of the ending, but I would also, I don't know if it's clear from the movie, there's also some religious trauma in there as well. But like there are beautiful values within that I still think are just vibe at the end of the day. Like that's what I would love for Gen Z to have. For Gen Z specifically. Thank you, one person. Oh, everybody. Yeah, please. It's so pretentious.
Keep vibing, guys.
Yes. For the older audience, though, I don't think it's just for exactly. I don't think it's just for Gen Z. Actually, I think Gen Z and Gen X share actually a lot of sensibilities. Because shout out Gen. I don't know. Gen X kind of had very similar. Their entire generation was consuming the same media at the same time, and we've been in kind of like a Wild West era for that for a while. Like monoculture died a while ago, but now because of For You pages or whatever, there's almost like a universal sensibility coming back. So I just think there's a lot of similarities between that. The boomers, I can't speak for. But love you guys, or I was raised by them, but they get some credit. They get some credit.
So I have a microphone here. Does anybody have a question? Okay, great. And then we'll just pass that down.
Hello. I'm 22. This was incredibly realistic and profound and powerful. So thank you guys. I think it was realistic in the way when you're scared that people are gonna like jump out your window when you're in your car and stuff, or when you want to jump out of your window. But I think what was actually more realistic was, I think that we're all cut from the same cloth, and I see you and I see me. And I think that whereas something like The Office divides us into like 12 people, you did it into 4. And I think you had the front seat drivers who think that they have it figured out, and the back seat drivers who see things for what they are and they're having a good time, and they help us have a good time. What helped you to kind of divide those 4 characters to what I think represents all of us? It's not one person. You have your friends in the car and you flip. When you're upset, the other person flips. And so what kind of inspired that?
It's definitely, I think every character's response to the road is totally valid. And like, you sound like from the way you articulate, kind of a Dave Fisher, if I'm...
I just love to drive.
I drive, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely based on, they're all parts of me, but the actors who are so fucking talented were like brought so much of themselves into it. And when I was casting, I was literally looking for people whose personalities were similar to the vision in my head, so they could
incredible
fill it. They're so talented, of course.
Incredible.
And even the chemistry reads too, like the idea of it was like reading them, and then immediately when all of them read actually I wrote the script. He's the only one I wrote the script in mind. I don't know if you could tell. He leaps off the page, truthfully.
Man.
Anyways.
It seemed like he didn't get a script. He was just in it.
Yeah, I was like, we were just filming him. He was just walking around. But as soon as Fisher and Day read for the script, it was like, oh my gosh, like that's them. And then they were able to bring so much to it too. Finn had a bit of a harder job because he was playing a younger, more attractive version of myself, so he had to like really squeeze into my younger body and like had to become me. They were able to like bring a lot of themselves, which is what makes Fisher and Day's chemistry so great. I kind of totally took that question. Anyone? That's it.
I think we've got room for 1 or 2 more. Can you shout your
I'll
question?
answer every question.
I can shout my question. So knowing Mitch pretty personally, and I do agree that he was casted perfectly for his role. I think it's because like he really displayed the hopelessness very well. So your very last scene, you did a little spit take, right? Was that improvised? Because I feel like that's something you would just do. You'd be like, I'm done. Yeah, you with the pumpkin. Yep. Yeah, you with the pumpkin.
Dude, I don't remember. Shit, I don't know.
Are you still Tyler right now?
Some days I feel like it, some days I don't. got this fucking pumpkin up here. Thanks, Steve. I don't fucking, dude, they paid me to do this movie. And then when my character leaves, they quit paying me. That sucks. I don't remember. Probably not.
What's your takeaway from Tyler's? What do you think?
A lot of people bring it up. They think it's very like not only on brand for Tyler, but it like signifies like I'm not doing it. Like I'm done. It's like he's completely done with it. But I mean, do you have like a more nuanced version of Tyler?
Yeah. What do you think happens to Tyler once he leaves the movie? What do you think's going on with Tyler?
He got out of the car. He's off the road now.
What's he doing in the woods? What do you think he's doing in the woods?
He probably just kept walking.
Maybe.
Do you think he ended up like one?
All right, next question. Anybody else?
You got a man right here.
Hello. Who would win in a fight? 100 men or one gorilla?
So it's so funny because like I wrote that meme 7 years ago. So it's really I'm hoping we can ride
You did
off.
the thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. I mean, if you want a serious answer to this question,
Yes.
if it's just a random aggregate of 100 people, like if it's us in this room,
Average
I'm
man.
gonna
Average
say-
man.
I would say the average person, once they see someone get ripped apart, it's gonna be like obviously off-put. Personally, I think you have one person just go for its eyes really quickly. Oh, stay with me. And then you go for the eyes, it's gonna be swinging around, and then you wait it out for a while. We as humans, we're built for cardio and like long endurance. People are gonna die. Some people are gonna die. We're gonna lose a few people, but if you take its eyes and wait it out, it's gonna starve to death, and then eventually everyone comes and kicks it to death, unfortunately.
Every day we are closer to Planet of the Apes actually happening. The more we entertain this conversation, they will rise up against this.
I would beat that gorilla's ass.
Maybe, yeah. A determined 100 for sure. A potential, there's 7 out of 10 times. Yeah, if you grab a random 100, yes. Good
All
answer.
right, so regrettably, I'm going to have to cut the question
I'm open
short.
for-
Not because of the question, because we're turning over the theater. However, I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to say one last thing. You're coming up on the end of your time together doing these Q&As. Is there anything you'd like one last thing you'd like to say?
I know everyone else wants to say more, but I can speak for all of us. Thank you for being here and celebrating this with us. This is so cool.
Yes, thank you, Tallahassee.
And we're in
This is
Tallahassee
like
as well.
homecoming for us. This is a beautiful experience. We're so incredibly excited.
Thank you.
Yeah, this meal was made with donated time, donated meals,
Yes.
donated homes, donated energy. Shout out Brooks, who
Yes.
who volunteered on our movie when he was 16 years old and has now since
Yeah.
We found him
graduated
in
high
the
school.
woods.
Can I get anyone who helped out with the film? Can you stand up? Like extras, anything? Anybody
Yeah,
here?
Brooks.
Everyone.
Oh yeah. Look, these are the people who listen to the extra movie. Thank you for watching, enjoying, AC. Thank you.
Yeah, I just feel incredibly lucky. I'm incredibly lucky that I met all these people and that everything worked out. Make movies with your friends, vibe. That's how you win capitalism. For a more succinct version of that.
No, I do want to say we played at South by in Austin. We played in Chicago, New York, Atlanta. We played all over the place, but this is a really special one because we did. Truly, these guys went to school here. I grew up an hour from here, and also for me personally, this is the first screening that my mom was able to see. Love you, Mom.
Thank you all so much for coming. Welcome to the festival. Have a great weekend.
Thank you,
and
everyone.
have a great night.
Thank you.